and welcome to another TechHub.training solution video. This video will cover the solution for the challenge ChatGPT Sales Script Switch. In this challenge, we're given an Excel file that contains VBA code, and we need to put that code into ChatGPT to debug the code and then to convert it into a Python script instead of VBA. So let's start by looking at the Excel file that we're given. Here we can see that we have three columns that include the products, the units sold, and the price per unit. Now if I hit Alt F11 on my keyboard, it will open up the Visual Basic for applications. And in here we can see that there's some code written. So let's walk through the code and look at the comments and see if we can figure out what this code is trying to do. So first we declare all of our different dimensions here. Then we set the active worksheet. We find the last row with data in it in the first column. Then we add a column header if there isn't already one for our total revenue column, which is going to be in column D, or the fourth column. Then we create a loop so that goes through each row and calculates total revenue, which is units sold times price per unit, and we spit that out into column D, and we loop through that until we reach the last row, and then this informs the user that the revenue calculation has been completed. Now that we have an idea of what this code is trying to do, we will copy this code, and so we can just select it all, and we can copy it, and then we're going to open up ChatGPT to help us out here with the coding. ChatGPT has some great resources for coding. So here we can see that I have implemented the canvas function in ChatGPT, which is especially helpful for code, and I've asked it to debug the VBA code and explain any error corrections that it made. So then I just copied or I pasted in the code that we copied from Visual Basic, and here's what it gave me. So it corrected the errors in the code. There were three. There was an incorrect data type and then two missing dot value headers. So this was the debugged code over here in the window. This is what Canvas does in ChatGPT, is it opens this window and then you can see the code row by row. After that, I asked Chat if it could convert the VBA code into Python, and I also gave Chat the name of the Excel file, the full name including .xlsm, so that it could implement that into the Python code and I wouldn't have to manually go in and change anything myself. So then it converted the VBA script into Python, and here we can see that it took that VBA code and now it's giving us Python script. So this is super helpful and makes our lives a lot easier because then we don't have to manually do that. So then, just to show some of the functionality of Canvas, which you get by clicking these three dots down here, and then this canvas right here is what we want. I'm going to ask it if it can add more comments to the code just so that we really know what's going on here, and then we'll test out the code that it gives us. So again, Canvas is going to open a separate window and it's going to go through each line of the code and explain it for us. So this actually went back into the VBA code, and this gives me a chance to reconvert it into Python. Yes, I wasn't clear enough with ChatGPT. That's one thing that you have to be really clear about what you want each time you prompt. So now it's coded in Python, and it includes, we can see all these green rows, this green text are comments so that we know what's happening. So I'm going to copy this code, and then I'm going to open Visual Studio and we're going to run this code. So I'm just going to paste it in. Then another important step is that you want to make sure that the Excel file that you're editing with Python is closed before you run it, otherwise the modifications won't work. So open this back up, then I'm just going to hit Shift Enter to run it, and it returned the message that total revenue calculation was complete. So let's go back into our Excel file and see if we can find that fourth row or fourth column. Here we can see that it successfully created a total revenue column, and this column equates to column B times column C. So 10 times 800 would be 8,000. So we can see that that worked correctly, and just looking at it quickly, we can see that it worked for all of the 100 lines here. So that is a step-by-step on how to take VBA code from Excel, debug it using ChatGPT, and then convert it into Python. Now we could have converted this into any coding language that we want because Chat has all kinds of functionality, so hopefully we can find other ways to apply this and use it in other ways. Thanks.